Hi everyone, it's Simon Keelig here. Thanks again for watching weatherweb.net. It's Friday, the 12th of April, and as always the sites get free of charge by the adverts that you're seeing around the screen here. It's by you coming back and using the site and using the adverts. It's that keeps us free of charge, which means we can keep you up to date throughout the day. And it's a warm weekend ahead, but some questions remain over what happens to the detail of the weather, particularly as we're getting into the latter part of the coming week. Some discrepancies between the models, although still the emphasis on warmer weather. Now this is the chart for Saturday, so this is for midday on Saturday. And you see here the warm front that's tracking its way northeastwards through the country. Now it's that's responsible for bringing the warm air through the UK, which is going to bring fair conditions through, or rather warmer conditions through the weekend, although as you can see here there is some rain associated with it, most of it out towards the west where the winds are going to be increasing too. And if you're sailing this weekend, just be aware that winds are going to increase out towards the west of the UK and through the western parts of the Channel through the weekend. Now, into Sunday, we've got a weak cold front that passes its way eastwards through northwest England, through western parts of Wales on Sunday. That's what triggers off one or two heavier showers, but through central and through southeastern areas, it's here where we are going to find the warmest of conditions. And again, we could be looking here at temperatures up to 22 degrees. Out towards the west, behind that front, I think we're going to find some showers coming in, and breezy conditions there too, but still staying much milder than it has been recently. I'll just give you an idea of where temperatures are. Look, this is the prediction from the GFS for maximum temperatures for the afternoon on Sunday, and you can see here even the GFS itself predicts a base maximum of 20 degrees, while you just add on a couple of degrees for the warmer spots. But you see out towards the west we're cooler, but we're still generally at around 12 to 15 degrees. Now into Monday, you notice that the cold front has cleared its way eastwards. Then we're going to be finding some showers moving on to western coasts of the country, particularly western Wales, western Scotland, all associated with this occluded front here. One or two of those quite heavy, but for many it looks like being a dry day. There should be some sunny spells, and although cooler, we could still be looking at temperatures somewhere between about 13 and up to around 18 degrees. So still not too bad a day, but breezier with that southwest wind and some gales for northwestern Scotland. On to Tuesday, another front will be moving in. This one perhaps bringing a little more persistent rain, particularly to northern and western areas. Breezy still for western Scotland, northern parts of Ireland, with some showers following in behind the front. I think for more eastern parts of the country and parts of the Midlands, again, it should be a drier day. And warm day too, we could be up to near 19 degrees. But cooler conditions further west, but still, when I say cooler, don't think it's what we've had recently. We're looking about 12 to 15. And then on to Wednesday, well, this trailing front you can see through here is always threatened at some point during next week. Now, the exact position of that front is unclear at the moment, but what it's hinting at is that somewhere around Wales, southwestern parts of England, possibly even through parts of the Midlands and southern England and southern Ireland, could see a spell of heavier rain. So exactly where it's going to be, we're not sure, but it could last for some time. Brighter conditions towards the north. We stay in the southwesterly flow, so it remains warm. So in terms of total rainfall, this is rainfall taking us through to midday next Wednesday, which is the 17th. And what I want you to notice here is just that most of the rainfall shown from the GFS is out towards more western parts of the UK and Ireland. And we're looking at totals potentially of 25 to 40 millimetres, perhaps as high as 50 millimetres over the hills. Much less, you notice, through central and eastern areas, protected by that southwesterly wind. Now still that southwesterly continues to blow by the time we get through to the end of the period here, which is taking us to midnight on Saturday. Again, you see total rainfall from now until then, most of it out to the west, and by then we're looking at totals of 30 to 50 millimetres, so that's up to a couple of inches of rain. Most places perhaps seeing sort of 1.5 inches of rain. Still less out towards the east, you'll notice, but you'll notice how there's more rain by then coming to southern parts of England, parts of the Midlands, northwest and northeast England too. So just be aware that we could go into a wet spell of weather middle to the end part of next week, and exactly where it's going to be is unsure, although we can probably be fairly certain that the west will see most of it, with the least of it out towards the east. Now, it's what happens beyond that as well that causes some questions at the moment. This is the ECMWF chart, valid for midnight on the 21st, so Sunday on the 21st. And notice here that we've got this ridge that's out in the Atlantic look, and then another ridge that's through Europe. But this weak trough that's coming through, bringing unsettled, windier conditions across Ireland and Scotland, according to the ECMWF, but with the south staying warm. Now compare that to the Canadian. Now at first glance it looks different, with low pressure here in the North Sea and higher pressure out towards the west. But if you look at the 500 flow, here's the ridge look, here's the trough, and here's the ridge out towards the east. So although the overall pressure pattern, or rather I should say the pressure pattern itself, the detail is different, the overall 500 millibar flow is actually quite similar. This idea of shortwave troughs passing across Northern Ireland and through Scotland, taking some periods of rain or showers with them, is probably okay, whilst to the south we stay in generally dry conditions and milder conditions too. That's not to say completely dry for most, although we stay in the southeast. Parts of southern England probably do stay dry. And it's a similar picture as well if we look at the ensemble for the same time. Again, look, we've got this ridge, we've got the trough, and we've got the ridge. Everything shifted a little bit further west on the GFS ensemble, but the overall pattern is generally there. And what it's showing us is this idea of higher pressure across the British Isles. So again, we can build this idea of showery bursts of rain towards Scotland, Northern Ireland, down towards the south, tending to stay dry. And what about further ahead? Well, this is how the GFS ends up. Look, it's got this broad ridge through the UK. So again, it's got this emphasis on higher pressure. Again, I think it's worthwhile stretching that it's not going to be fair everywhere. Scotland and Northern Ireland particularly are going to be suffering at times from outbreaks of rain. Could be some in Western Ireland too. But for many, we're going into a dry period through the end of April. And just finally, a quick look at the CFS. And on the CFS chart for today, again, what I wanted to highlight to you is just this dip in temperatures it's bringing in for the early part of May, which has been a consistent feature of the CFS in bringing in these cooler temperatures during that early part of May. Now, it's not making it wet, it's not making it particularly unpleasant, but it brings the winds more into an east and northeasterly flow. So it's just worthwhile noting that idea, and also the fact that it brings temperatures up, look, through April, dips them off, but then brings them back up again through May. So that overall temperature pattern is starting to build through the CFS. So plenty of information there. I'll leave you with that for now. But once again, thanks for watching. And remember, the sites get free of charge by the adverts you're seeing around the screen here, by you using the site, and also by you following us on Twitter and Facebook. So once again, thanks for watching, and keep the sun shining. Bye for now.